Our big draft energy algorithm and projections has pinpointed these 10 NFL defenses that are about to hand opposing running backs a 2025 fantasy gold mine of PPR points to give you a leg up against your 2025 fantasy football opponents. And we're going to break down exactly why with insider stats and, of course, the laser accurate and pinpoint BDE algorithm. Now, before we go into the 10 defenses we want to absolutely abuse, I got to tell you guys how we came up with our pinpoint laser accurate BDE projections. All right. So it starts like this. We looked at the defenses in 2024 and we looked at their struggles to opposing running backs. Then we looked at the impact of key season acquisitions and losses. Following that, we then finished off with high implied total points means more fantasy shootouts. Now that you guys know how we got our why, we're going to go into the 10 defenses. 1, Arizona. 2, Jacksonville. 3, the New Orleans Saints. 4, Tennessee Titans. 5, the Carolina Panthers. 6, the Atlanta Falcons. 7, the Cleveland Browns. 8, the San Francisco 49ers. 9, the Cincinnati Bengals. 10, the Seattle Seahawks. Now that you know which 10 defenses we want to absolutely take advantage of, we're going to identify which offensive backfields that have the most favorable schedules. I took the liberty of looking at every single schedule, every single game this upcoming season, and I made sure that we prioritized the ones that have the advantageous matchups. Now, we're not saying you can't draft any of the running backs that, go ahead of some of these players that are not on this list. We're not saying that. We're saying that there's certain narratives that are out there that, whether it be fantasy football consensus, whether it be just really bad takes, where people are fading some of these players. And I'm here to tell you that their situation is really good and you need to take advantage of their very, very solid and safe floor and incredibly high ceiling. All right. Take it easy on me. I know I've been dilly-dallying, but I'm down to get into the list if you're down to listen to the list of the running backs that you want to absolutely abuse your opposition this upcoming 2025 season. So we'll start with none other than the Arizona Cardinals. They have the most advantageous schedule. James Conner is an absolute beast and a beauty, and I'll tell you why right now. So 1, they have 10 advantageous matchups. They play their NFC West divisional rivals, the Seahawks and the 49ers twice. In addition, they also play the Saints, Panthers, Titans, Jaguars, Falcons, and Bengals. In 2024, the Cards' old but reliable back finished as the RB15, averaging 15.9 fantasy points per game, and finished as the RB11 with 253.8 fantasy points on the entire season. He has been as reliable as a back can be. He's been averaging 14.2 fantasy points per season since he's entered the league in 2017, and yet he's going off the board in drafts at the end of 6th and 7th rounds, and that's wrong. With the safest schedule in 2025, you want to invest in this running back. You even want to pick up his backup. Say you couldn't get James Conner early on. Trey Benson, who is currently going off the board and as the 141st overall pick, somewhere in the 12th to 13th rounds in fantasy football drafts. The Cardinals, under head coach Jonathan Gannon, ran the ball at the 11th highest rate in 2024 at 45% of their offensive snaps. The volume, game script, indoor stadium schedule, which usually translates into faster paced games, means this offensive running game is going to be one that you got invested in 2024. So now that you know which one's number one, there's definitely a trend here, okay? So I'm going to tell you guys about number 2 right now. Coming in at number 2, and there's definitely going to be a public service announcement about this guy because I'm sick and tired of the fade in shape. Like, I can't deal with it anymore. All right? So coming in at number 2 is none other than the Los Angeles Rams running back, Kyren Williams. He's an absolute beast. He's an absolute specimen. He's a dog, and I'm sick and tired of people dogging him, all right? The Kyren Williams shade needs to stop, and it needs to stop here. I get it. You got FOMO. 2 years ago, when Kyren Williams took over in round 20 and just absolutely won leagues, best ball leagues, redraft leagues, dynasty, you name it, Kyren Williams was an absolute steal. Since then, what have you guys been doing to reward this guy for just being a fantasy football gem? You guys have been fading him for Blake Corum, saying that Kyren Williams is going to be returning punts last season after they drafted back Blake Corum. Now, you guys are fading him for Jarquez Hunter. Right? Here's the thing, guys. If you're looking for the next Kyren Williams, maybe the next Kyren Williams is Kyren Williams. Stop fading him, okay? The Rams have 10 total advantageous matchups this upcoming season. They play their NFC West divisional rivals, the Seahawks, 49ers, and Cardinals twice. They also play the Panthers, Titans, 49ers, and Falcons. All this third-year back has done since taking over as the franchise's lead bell cow back was produced and has produced at an incredibly high and efficient rate. Since becoming the starter back 2 years ago, he's averaged close to 19 fantasy points per game. And in 2024, that didn't slow down. He finished as the RB10 in terms of fantasy points per game, averaging 17 fantasy points. He finished as the RB7 when it comes to total fantasy points on the season with 272 fantasy points. And yet, for the second year in a row, the narrative across the board is rookie Jarquez Hunter or rookie second year Blake Corum is going to take over. And it stops. It stops here. All right. Don't get me wrong. With this incredible schedule, I would recommend investing in both of these handcuffs, especially in best ball format. Corum's coming off the board as the 214th overall player. Hunter's coming off the board as 197th overall player. God forbid anything happens to Kyren Williams, these guys are going to be great, right? And now something else to consider as to why Kyron's going to be elite. They got in a new guy, in case you've been living on Iraq. His name is Devontae Adams. He's now playing on the opposite side of Puka Nacua. They brought back their quarterback, Matthew Stafford. This means that they're going to face lighter boxes because they have two very viable threats on the outside, which means Kyren Williams gets to be more efficient in his rushes per attempt. He's found the end zone. He's caught passes. He's blocked very well. What else do you want from this guy? Coming in at number 3, though, this guy, he's won leagues before, but people are still fading him. We get in the trend here. We get in the trend. Okay, so there's certain trends, right? One of the trends that I'm about to address right now is running backs catching unnecessary fade. This running back has been a fantasy football sweetheart for as long as I can remember. He's been as spectacular as a running back one could be, and he's still catching strays and fades, and that's San Francisco 49ers Christian McCaffrey coming in at number 3. Now, I get the hesitancy. I know I look like I've been living in a cave because I look like a modern day Neanderthal, but when a certified doctor who specializes in the procedures CMC underwent for his knees and his 2 Achilles stem cell injections is saying things like this here on Twitter, it's Dr. Jesse Morse, by the way, the last 29-year-old running back to finish as the RB1 in fantasy football was Tiki Barber in 2004 PPR scoring format. Of course, this is a Christian McCaffrey tweet. So when an MD, a doctor, is that bullish on somebody who's broken fantasy before, and this is the cheapest you could ever get CMC, like you were never able to get CMC after the 101 or 102 in years past because he's just been the 101, 102 guy. So if a doctor is saying CMC is going to be fine, CMC is going to be great, CMC is going to be healthy, then maybe you should also be saying I should draft CMC and put him in my lineups. Right now, he's going off the board in round 2, and that's absolutely criminal. Now, I get it. Okay, say you get sniped on CMC or you're intimidated by the injury risk and you're waiting for information to come out about him just being 100% good to go. I got an itch in my nose that I need to scratch. All right, I would recommend the second-year back, Isaac Guerrero, who's an explosive back and is definitely someone you could consider drafting in the 12th to 13th rounds of drafts. And rookie Jordan James in round 19 to 20. He's essentially the carbon copy of last year's league winner, Jordan Mason. We know that the San Francisco 49ers won the Run the Rock. They've always been a top productive running game. So CMC, Guerrero, Jordan James, got to smash that value. And this next value, you definitely got to smash as well. All right. Coming in at number 4, and you guys may be noticing a trend here, and we'll discuss with you guys why this trend is super important, is none other than the Seattle Seahawks with the 4th most advantageous schedule and their feature running back, Kenneth Walker. Now, here's the importance of trends, especially in larger field tournaments like the Drafters Fantasy Main. Last season, the guy who won the big pot, which was 500,000 USD, and also placed several lineups in the top 100 who walked away with over $1 million total dollars just for playing fantasy football. He invested in 2 offenses for correlations and stacks. His name is Bengals, Bucks, and he drafted just Bengals and Bucks players, which led to one of the most successful best ball seasons in fantasy football history. So the trend that I'm talking about here for this upcoming season goes in as follows. In 2025, make sure you draft as many NFC West backs as humanly possible. The Seattle Seahawks backs have a total of 9 advantageous matchups. And I get it. You've been burnt by Kenneth Walker before, but here's a few things to consider. For starters, he's in a contract season. Historically, if you look at the trends at NFL backs who have had prior success in the league, contract seasons usually translate into league-winning upside. Pair that with the fact that his new offensive coordinator, Clint Kubiak, comes from a run-heavy scheme, the tutelage of the Kyle Shanahan's tree. that's a tough one to verbalize. Even with a more volatile situation in 2024, back when Kyle Shanahan was with the Saints, they ran the ball 43% of their offensive snaps. So if that's any sign for things to come with the Seahawks, we're looking pretty good with Kenneth Walker. The Seahawks now have an improved offensive line. They got healthy Charles Cross. They also brought in first-round stud Gray Zabel, who can literally line up anywhere on the offensive line. And, you look at the fact that Kenneth Walker's ADP is deliciously discounted at 51, overall player currently going off the board in round 5. This back is primed to break out and ball out. I also love his 1B, who put up career numbers in 2014. He had 17.9 fantasy points in week 2. He had 25.7 fantasy points in week 3. He had 38.3 fantasy points in week 14. When given bell cow usage, and that's Zach Charbonnet, and he's currently going off the board in round 10, and in this year's draft with the ADP of 109. Typically, I don't advise double tapping 2 players from the same backfield, but this price point is too good to pass up on, especially because Sam Darnold is going to be seeing ghosts, and the rookie quarterback, who I call the Ghostbuster, Jalen Milroe, his best friend is going to be a reliable run game. All right, we're going to try to wrap this thing up rapid fire, guys. Coming in at number 5 on the list, we got Bucky Irving and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. This guy was absolutely spectacular and elite in 2024, and I'm looking for that trend to continue this upcoming season. Now, they have 9 matchups against exploitable defenses. Bucky Irving in 2024 was a league winner, averaging 14.2 fantasy points per game. He was the RB13 with 244.4 total fantasy points, and he averaged 18 fantasy points per game after week 9. And his elite explosiveness and ADP, where he's going late second round, early third, it's an absolute steal. I also love his running back companion, Mr. Rachaad White, because he's a PPR beast who played hurt last season, and you folks need to stop writing him off at his undervalued ADP, currently going off the board in round 12, the 144th overall player taken off the board. It's just criminal, right? Another thing to be bullish on this backfield is the Bucs ran the ball at the 12th highest rate in 2024, with 44.64% of their snaps being run plays, and that's going to continue. This is the reason why they're number 5 overall. Irving's breakout potential, White's PPR value, and a soft schedule makes this backfield an absolute slam dunk. Now, this next backfield, not really a slam dunk, and we're going to talk about it. You can't really sell this guy in Dynasty. You can't really trade for him. You don't want to. That's none of them. Jonathan Taylor in the Indianapolis Colts. It's a weird situation. He used to be an RB sweetheart that we all wanted to target, that we all wanted to draft. He has the 6th most advantageous schedule with 8 advantageous matchups. Right now, he's going off the board in the middle portion of the second round, and it's scary. It's scary because he was once a league winner, but he self-sabotaged him with contract disputes. He's got lingering issues, but the schedule remains to have an incredible upside. I do like his backup, DJ Giddens, currently going off the board in round 16. He was a top 9 graded prospect for me in a stacked 2025 class. He is the contrarian gem. So if you're trying to be contrarian and try to leave with one of these guys, and you're missing the early capital of Taylor, or you don't want to invest in the early capital of Jonathan Taylor, which concerns me, then DJ Giddens is a must pick up, especially with the lingering injury history. They lost offensive line studs Ryan Kelly and Will Fries. They got shaky quarterback situation with Anthony Richardson and Daniel Jones, and a bad 2024 defense that favors passing and a negative game script for running backs. But the entire reason why I like them is the schedule-driven upside makes Giddens a steal. Be cautious with Taylor and do not sleep on this backfield's potential. All ceiling, no floor. All right, coming in at number 7, another one that I'm not very excited about. As you guys may notice here, this is why I'm going rapid fire, because they're just backfields that I'm not super excited for, but to be contrarian, it's important to leave with some of these guys. Number 7, we got Alvin Kamara and the New Orleans Saints. Now, this is no shade against Alvin Kamara. Don't get me wrong. I love Alvin Kamara a heck of a lot. A heck of a lot. All right, and I'll tell you guys why right now. They got 8 exploitable matchups coming in at number 7. The backfield breakdown goes as follows. Kamara is a PPR beast, finishing 2024 as the RB9 in total fantasy points, and he also finished as a top 5 back when it comes to fantasy points per game, averaging 18.9 games, and yet he falls as the RB19 in fantasy football drafts with the ADP of 60, going off the board in rounds 5 to 6, and this is criminal. The rookie QB, Tyler Shuck, Tyler Shuck, stupid. It doesn't even like. Why is it Tyler Shuck when it's spelled Shao? Anyways, this favors game scripts to boost his receiving volume because there's going to be a lot of check down work and he's going to require a lot of reliability. Devin Neal, rookie this year. They got 2 rookies this year that I actually like a lot. Devin Neal, you can get him in round 16, and undrafted rookie Marcus Yards are high upside handcuffs. And I think generally, because if you're just looking at the carbon copy of Alvin Kamara, who gets a lot of volume in the passing game, Yards could be a 2025 waiver wire star if Kamara misses any time, and he could be a round 20 steal in your best ball drafts. Coming in at number 8, another one that like I'm not really excited about because it's not a sexy one by any means. And what I mean by sexy is like it's doesn't have like reverse hurdles 360 situations going on it, but this back was very productive in 2024 and he paid off his ADP, and that's none other than the Carolina Panthers back Chuba Hubbard, coming in at number 8 on the list here. And let's just pull this down. I'm trying to navigate everything here, guys, so bear with me. So yeah, they got 8 matchups. Once again, the NFC South very soft. Chuba Hubbard in 2024 was a Canadian national treasure. Finished as the RB13 with 16.1 fantasy points per game, and the RB15 with 241.6 total fantasy points. His ADP right now is the 60th overall pick, still another late 5th round pick. He's a steal versus and people like RJ Harvey are going ahead of him. And I mean, I get the hype, I get the banner, I get why everybody likes him, but you shouldn't be drafting RJ Harvey over Chuba Hubbard, especially since Jonathan Brooks is going to be missing time, and Rico Dowdle would have been the worst running back on all 31 other franchises. He just happened to benefit down the stretch from very favorable game script and schedule. So yeah, don't draft Rico Dowdle, draft Chuba Hubbard, absolute steal. Jonathan Brooks, hold. God bless him. All right. Now let's talk about a sexy pick, a guy who should go off the board as a top 5 overall pick, and that's none other than the Atlanta Falcons feature running back beast Bijan Robinson. 2024, he was the RB3 for both fantasy points per game and total fantasy points at the end of the season. These slides are so cool. I'm crushing it with these slides. Slide game disco here to stay. So they have 7 exploitable matchups, and once again, the NFC South sucks. Bijan crushed 2024 as a RB3 for both fantasy points per game. He had 21.1 average per game basis, and he finished with a total of 341 fantasy points. He is not game script dependent. Doesn't matter if he's going against a bad team or a good team. This guy is matchup proof. All right. His season's absolutely incredible, and Tyler Algier going off the boards in round 10 in a run-heavy offense is probably the best handcuff in football. They ran the ball the 9th highest rate at 45.58% run rate. And yeah, that's number 9. And number 10 is a weird one because there's 3 teams that are all like a tie here. So we'll just pull up the slide here so we could tell you guys which 3 running back rooms that we kind of invest in. There's asterisks and situations behind every last one of them. That is Tony Pollard and the Tennessee Titans, Bashal Tutin and the Jacksonville Jaguars, and Joe Mixon and the Houston Texans. So let's get into it, and let's talk about these backs and things we may like, things we may dislike. Okay, so Tony Pollard's offensive line with the Tennessee Titans has improved drastically. They brought in all-world guard Kevin Zeitler. They got a rookie quarterback. They have a very favorable schedule against a very soft AFC South division. And even though Indianapolis Colts are not on this list, they're still 12th on the overall worst defenses. And if you guys want access to this, we got the Supreme License to Snipe Patreon and Discord that you guys can access to this for a very affordable price. But needless to say, Tony Pollard's an absolute smash, and I like his handcuff, Tajay Spears, a heck of a lot. And then Bashal Tutin. I know people are going to say, well, why not Travis Etienne? Why Bashal Tutin? Because their new general manager for the Jacksonville Jaguars, when interviewed, he was asked, what do you want to do that's going to be an absolute smash? within this draft. And he focused and honed in on saying, I want to bring Bashal Tutin in as our guy in round 3. He said that, and I quote, he went and he got Bashal Tutin. Bashal Tutin was the fastest running back out of all running backs in this year's combine. He was very efficient in his collegiate career. Yes, Travis Etienne is at a very affordable price, who's also, in a contract season, but rumor has it he might move and he might get traded. And Tank Bixby is somebody I don't want to draft a lot, but to be contrarian and you need like a 5th or 6th round running back, Tank Bigsby's all right. He's all right. And then last but not least, we got Joe Mixon. This offensive line for the Houston Texans has gotten worse. Joe Mixon's ADP is kind of fair right now, going off the board in round 4 or 5. It's kind of fair. He's old. He's getting older. Damian Pierce is somebody I'm not going to touch. I do like the rookie Woody Marks. It's a running back room. If like I need a good RB3, I'll get Joe Mixon. If I'm trying to go like super elite premium RB situation, Woody Marks is one of my favorite handcuffs in football because I do anticipate Joe Mixon is going to miss some significant time. Damian Pierce is somebody who I just don't want to touch. Now, if you guys think we forgot about the backs that you need to target for your drafters, 2.5 main, Best Ball Mania, and your fantasy football championships, well, my friend, you need to give me more credit. So here's the backs with the most advantageous Week 17 matchups. You got Chase Brown against the Arizona Cardinals. You got Jonathan Taylor versus the Jacksonville Jaguars. You got Tony Pollard versus the New Orleans Saints. You got Alvin Kamara versus the Tennessee Titans. Kenneth Walker versus the Carolina Panthers. Kyron Williams versus the Atlanta Falcons. You got Jalen Warren versus the Cleveland Browns. DeAndre Swift versus the San Francisco 49ers. James Conner versus the Cincinnati Bengals. And Chuba Hubbard versus the Seattle Seahawks. That's your top 10 running backs rooms to dominate 2025. Stack those NFC West and NFC South backs. Snatch up those values like Kamara and Hubbard. And don't sleep on handcuffs like Giddens and Yards. Use promo code DISCO on Drafters Fantasy Sports to double your initial deposit dollar for dollar up to $100 and own these best ball drafts. Drop your favorite RB picks that we had here in this video. Smash the like button. Subscribe for more fantasy football heat. We still got the tight end video to come out. We still got the running back video to come out. If you guys want to catch us Monday to Friday, you guys want questions, we can answer them live. We're live Monday to Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern time on the Big Draft Energy YouTube channel. Once again, guys, it would mean the world to me if you could subscribe. Until next time, peace. Where the hell is my outro? There it is.